Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Farin Khatun, and today we have a guest who going to tell about the integrated PhD. And I'm glad he get accepted my invitation. So welcome John Cloud, and he's from Tanzania. So over to you, John. Let's introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Farin, for this opportunity to give me to talk into your channel. Well, my name is John Cloud, and I'm from Tanzania. It is like located in East Africa. And I'm currently a student at Postech, Pohang University of Science and Technology in Pohang, South Korea. And I'm doing my integrated course, like master's and PhD together. I'm studying in the Department of IT Convergence Engineering. So technically, I'm an engineer, and I am so glad to be in this meeting today.
Okay, thank you. Can I know just like when did you know about the integrated PhD and when did you apply for it? Like when it's come in your mind because most of the student doesn't know when they are completing their degree.
Well, it was very interesting journey for me because I came to Korea for master's degree, only master's degree, and it was about 2020. And at the time, I just studied master's in another university, and I get to know Postech, and I just get to know that you can start master's, you can start PhD, and also you have an opportunity to study master's and PhD. In my opinion, to study master's and PhD is kind of a elongated kind of study because only master's might be very short, only PhD might be very intense. So master's and PhD is kind of like a joint that you get to experience smooth learning experience and research in your field. So at the time it was about 2022. That's when I get to know that, oh, I can take this kind of study course, which is like master's and PhD integrated course. So it was about 2023. And it was very eye-opening after knowing that.
Okay. It's about like masters when you apply. If someone wants to apply during bachelor's, like there is a possibility, or like in fourth year or something like that. What are the requirements or expectations from the supervisor? Like you already have master, so you already like did something extra. So what do you think about it?
Well, I think somebody wants to apply when they are undergrads on their last year is very possible because it's just like you're applying for masters and the requirement would not be too tight or too intense because just think of it as you are applying for master's degree. You don't really have to be afraid when you see that PhD is integrated. So you just apply like you're applying a master's degree, and they would need you to complete your course and to have a certain grade. And they wouldn't need much of your research. So if you don't have any research experience, it's very okay. So it's just like you're applying a master's degree. But in the middle, as you are going through your integrated course, you would have to prove that you are capable of continuing with PhD. So, for example, after you have second year of master's degree, they would give you maybe a test or they will give you a challenge, a research challenge for you to show that I've done my master's and I'm capable of continuing with my PhD. But the entry levels, they just evaluate you as they evaluate a master's degree student.
Oh, okay. And can you tell me what are the documents need? Because for a PhD, there are professor looking for some publications in the masters or some kind of GRE score. If not for the Korea, then someone is applying for others. So can you just tell about that also?
Right, yeah. Actually, for Korea, for the case of Korea, you might need an English proficiency test. I don't know, it could be IELTS or it could be TOEFL. It could be TOEFL. It could be any kind of English proficiency test. That's the what they will need. And for the academic grades, they will just need some pass mark. So, for example, in Korea, some schools, their GPA is out of 4.5, and that is also depending on school. Like Postech is they have a little bit high standard. So they would require to have maybe above 3.7 or I don't know much, but they would require you to have certain grade for you to apply here. And about the publication, it's not very important because again, you are an undergrad, you just finished your coursework, you don't really have any research capability, but they would want to see your interest. That's what they will want to see because as you're applying to a specific department, and not just specific department, you are applying to a specific laboratory. As you already know, there is a lot, like the system is most of working in the lab. So as you're applying to that lab, they would want you to show some interest, like what is it that you want to study and how is it related to what we are doing in the lab. So they don't really want you to be very invested. They just want to see your interest and the basic understanding that you have and your grades and English proficiency levels. That's all that they would need to know because they just know you just finished undergrad. You don't really have much of research experience and you're just looking for a fresh start. So they don't really have very tight specifications because you're joining for masters and PhD together.
Oh, thank you. Uh, there is one more question I have. If you compare this with the normal PhD, how much time it take? Like, integrated masters is specific, right, for 2 years. Then, can you just tell about it, the time period and the comparison with the normal PhD?
Oh, yeah. So the normal PhD would take about 4 years and
4 to 5.
masters usually takes about 2 years. So integrated before it used to be 5 years together. But recently, I think they just changed to 6 years. But still, I think there are some schools that make it 5 years. So that's kind of an advantage of integrated. Sometimes you can get to study less years when you combine them together rather than when you just study one by one. And this is because you started masters in the same place. So your understanding once you come to study PhD is already large. You're not starting from the beginning. When you start masters and then you move to another place, you may need a start during the first few months or the first 1 year. You may need a start, like getting to know places and getting to know how they do research, their methods, their everything. But when you're doing it all together, from your first year, you're already thinking about the next year and the next coming year. So it's kind of like a good start and it can make your time shorter in some cases. But recently, as I can tell, is about still 60 years. But previously it was 5 years, and there are still other university that I know, and they only require you to do 5 years at minimum.
What about the coursework? PhD already have work, and if the person goes with the coursework in the masters because they're in the
Right.
same professor, then professor make them to go in the coursework again during the PhD. Can you just tell about it?
Well, about the coursework, I think they are independent. So you may need to take master's coursework and PhD coursework.
Okay.
But the good thing that will be there is that when you are doing masters, you may need to complete maybe let's say 25 credits, and then you may have to complete them in 2 years, but you can do them in 1 year, and then the next year you just focus on research. And for a PhD, also, maybe you may need 50 credits, and then you can do it in the first 2 years, and the remaining 2 years, you can continue on your research work. If you are integrated, you are allowed. So in this case, it's about 75 credits. In When you are doing integrated, you are allowed to take all 75 credits, even in your first 3 years. So that means like you combine them and then do them as fast as you can so that you can have remaining like many years for research. So in that case, you don't really have to finish the first year only masters, and then after that you start the PhD credits. You can just combine all the credits together and then choose and plan how I can take them and finish them as fast as I can. So the credits will remain the same probably, but you have a time, you have like a flexibility to do them as fast as you want and I mean at your convenience. So in that case, you can have more time for research. So I think that's much pretty of it on the credits and the coursework.
Hmm. Thank you for that. I have like when did a student should apply, or like before applying they should go do some previous, you even though you have tell they don't ask for the too much research work, but still if you what you suggest they should do, because it's a competitive getting a response from a supervisor or a professor. So what are the tips you are going to give
Right.
if someone is contacting them because they have to tell something which is not other application have? So what over to it?
Right. Actually, that's a very good question, and it can really be depending on person to person because, as you mentioned, many people will try to hear from others how they got a chance, how they get accepted, but
Mm.
probably may not work for them. So it is also depend on the professor they are applying to. So I think the best way would just be to before you apply, before you make any move, it would be very nice for you to visit the website or any page because usually professors they have their pages about what they do in their labs. So they publish there like we did this, and then we're interested in this. And sometimes they even say we are looking for a person who is interested to come to work with us. So as an undergrad, it's not really important, as I mentioned earlier, for you to be expert in what they are doing, but they would really love to see your interest and your effort. So you already took some courses in your undergrad, and maybe those courses they can be a good lead to what they are doing in the lab. So you just need to take some time and see what they are doing in the lab and just go around and look at them, like what they are, and are you really interested in them? Because I would really recommend for a person who is want to join school to be interested in what they want to join, not just to join for the sake of being a graduate student. Maybe it won't turn out good. You really should like and be interested on that. That will really help your career if you like something. So just see and then find out how you can relate to that. And when you come to contact professor, you just have to show your interest most of it. They really appreciate and they really like they put some kind of effort to see and further if have a conversation further with you if you have an interest and then you show that you got potential to that. So basically it's just you need to know what they are doing and then you need to show that, oh, I don't have much experience, but I'm very willing to learn about this. And then during my previous study, I did this and this. So if you have any small, even a small project that you did, it is also very appreciable. You can just show that I did this out of interest, I did this out of credit or whatever it is, and I loved it. And I'm really eager to pursue this. And I think your lab would be something very influential for me. So that's another good option. And sometimes it's kind of like a tip, but you can find students who work in the same lab in that website. So if it will be possible, you can even just contact them because most of them students sometimes they are just okay and they will just be glad to see somebody contacting them. So you can just contact them and then show your interest to them and ask them like, how can I get the chance? How can I get to join in the lab in case they reply to you? And I think they will give you a very good direction because they probably know their professors and then they will be very helpful. I think that could be like one of the best also method to get into the school. For me personally, I also didn't know my professor, but I just get to know my professor in one of the meeting. I just met him, and then he get to tell me that he's a professor from this place, and then he just get to introduce me what they are doing, and then I was interested. From there on, I contact him. So because I met him, and then I get to hear from him, so I get to know what things he's doing, and then when I went back, I did some small research, but after visiting on his page. And then from there, it was history.
You got selected and continuing that. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah. From there, I got selected.
I have just one more. Like, did you apply somewhere else also? Like, apart from Korea, like, did you apply the another country also, or just you have just grabbed this
Oh,
opportunity or like that? It possible.
well, so that's actually a good question. And for me, when I came to Korea and finished my master's, I wasn't my first. like thing in mind wasn't to study again here in Korea. I wanted to look for more opportunity outward, like going to other countries and explore there. But when I get to meet the professor and get to listen from him, I was very interested. Honestly, because when I was young, let's say from my dream and whatever it is, I really was interested in electronics. Yeah, I wanted to study electronics and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, I found so fascinating when electronics joined medicine. So it was something that was like, oh, it's very interesting that we can use technology into the medical field. So it's like translate to healthcare industry. So I was very interested. And when I met Professor, he was in healthcare industry. So I was like, oh, that's a good thing. And I would want to apply more, but I was like, I think this is also something good for me. I can just try this. And the good thing is the university is very good. So I said, if I lose this chance, it can be a gambling, and it's still it's very good university, and it's a very good chance. So I couldn't pursue more to look for other schools in another country. So I just went for it. That's my story. So it's kind of like very short and not very dramatic because I had a good opportunity to meet the professor, but it can be different from many people.
Mm. You just grabbed the chance. Okay. Could you just little
Yeah,
bit
I grabbed the chance.
explain about your research? You was like very happy when you're telling about your research. So just briefly, what you are doing in the lab.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier, that before you apply, you should really get to know what you want to study and you should really get to know what they are doing, right? So you can see if your interest match. That's very important. It will really help your graduate life because sometimes it can be very busy and very stressful. But if you like it, even if a small achievement will really make you happy, will really make your day and make your time. Um, for me, what I'm doing, I am in IT. I'm in IT department, and it's called the Convergence IT, which means that it's IT, but we integrate it with other fields. So I can say simply what I'm doing is includes biomedical because it's under the IT umbrella. Biomedical, and also we do some electronics, pure electronics, and we do also industrial application. And what we do mostly in our lab, we use ultrasound. So, as probably many people already know, ultrasound is very famous in imaging pregnant women. In like if you have any kind of injury, ultrasound is very like, popular and very fast. It's real time. You just put the device and you can see everything that's going on. So it's very like a well-known technology. But ultrasound is not only in imaging. Maybe that is where many people doesn't really find its familiarity because they only know it in imaging. But in underwater, underwater like boats or submarine or anything, ultrasound is very useful. In the airplanes, ultrasound is also very useful for detecting anything. So it doesn't only be applied in imaging. And also in biomedical engineering, it can also be used as treatment. So we can just put the ultrasound energy and treat whatever it is, either it's cancer or it's some kind of any inflammation. It can be very useful for that. So our area, we just explore the application of ultrasound. We use ultrasound in industrial application for imaging, any kind of engineering structures, buildings, whatever it is. We also use it in biomedical for treatment and therapy, also for imaging of blood vessels or any heart or anything. And we also use it in autonomous vehicles for detecting objects. So it's like very wide. And in my case, personally, I use ultrasound in therapy, using therapy, especially cancer therapy. And I also use it for industry applications. So everything is under the umbrella of ultrasound. That is what basically I'm doing. But application wise is very vast, is very different. So I exploit here and here and here, different areas.
It's really sound interesting. Yeah, although I'm not
Yeah,
part of it, but I understand a little bit. Thank you
yeah,
so
it's
much.
very interesting.
Okay, I think viewers will going to ask like if someone goes, PhD is a very long commitment and you need discipline. I think more like a motivation, internal motivation to go for a long. what if someone find out after doing a master's that, okay, I'm not made for the PhD. So what about this? Like if they are doing master's from the other, they can like go for a job when they realize, okay, after the master's, after 2 years, okay, I'm not made for the PhD, then I am going for a job. But what in this situation?
Oh, so you mean that once they are integrated and they want to drop out?
Yeah, if they
Is
want
that
to
what you
do
mean?
after masters, they realize that okay, I don't want to do a PhD. Then what they are, they don't want to do a PhD, but they are integrated. So if there is any chance, they can
Mm.
switch, just get their master's degree, because or it just goes on vain, like whole degree. Your
Well,
professor.
so
Hmm.
uh okay, so I got to hear earlier that once you are integrated, when you graduate, you will get one certificate, not two. So your certificate will say master's and PhD is integrated certificate because in this case, you have been in the same lab, you have been in the same major from the beginning to the end. So they will just give you one certificate. And I have also get to know, but I'm not 100% sure of this information, but one of my Korean friend have just told me that it is very possible for you to drop out when you finish master's. So what will happen is you finish your master's degree, maybe your first 2 years, and you decided that you want to drop out. But you will have to take one more year to prepare for finalization and everything. So it will be like you have spent 3 years on your master's. Or if you're on the first year, then you want to drop out on your second year. I don't know also if you would just take that 1 year and that's it, but probably you'll be possible to take that one more year and maybe one more semester for you to finish. But I think it is very possible to drop out once you finish your master's. But in most cases, they don't count it as master's. They just give you one certificate. It's integrated certificate. So perhaps that would also depends on the department or with the agreement with your professor that he would say to you, okay, just take one more year and then prepare for your graduation or any kind of information that would be. But I heard one from my friend, as I mentioned, that one student wanted to drop his integrated and just finish his master's, and he just had to take one more year. So I don't know for that case, but I think it's very possible, and it depends with the department and the professor decisions, in my opinion.
Okay. This is a very like if I know it's a fully funded fellowship, right? So, what about the stipend? It goes increase with the PhD level, like after the masters, or like you have combined package and you have to complete it for whole. What is there is a chance of
Oh,
increasement in the
absolutely.
stipend as a masters or as a PhD student, or like you have to continue as with the same stipend?
Well, actually, that's a good question, and I would speak based on where I am studying, based on this university that I am,
Uh, you
and this
already
I
got,
think could be based.
sorry to interrupt. People must know that Posttech is one of the top competitive university in Korea. So the stipend is really good and it's really competitive to go there also. So John is telling about with the very good university perspective.
Right. So this is from my experience, and I think it will be basic for many university. So picture this: as you go into the master's course, you don't know much. You are like going to learn to start, right? So your salary will definitely be at the minimum or a little above the minimum because there is a minimum wage for masters and PhD. So even though you are integrated student, this applies to you because your first year and your second year, you are still counted as masters, right? And the remaining years you're a PhD. It's just that you don't have to apply separate. You are in the same together because there's some advantage to it. But when it comes to salary, they just consider you as masters and PhD. So in the beginning, you don't really know much, right? You're there, you want to learn and then put your strong foundational research. So your salary will be lower. And as you progress on the next year and the next year, your salary keep increasing because you're becoming familiar, you're becoming expert, you're becoming senior, that you can do things better and faster and more things. So you deserve more pay. So that is how it works for
Hmm.
post-tech specific. In your first year, you get this amount. And then it might be enough to cover your expenses, like paying the tuition fee, where you live, and food and transportation. I think that's very good thing of positive. They just made the standard that everybody should get paid this much, and it's very enough for everything, though not much is remaining. But as you climb up, second year, there will be an increase to some percent. And your third year will typically be your PhD, your first year in PhD. It will also go up. And until you're on almost your last year, then you have a lot of money enough because it keep increasing every year as to how I know. So salary wise in the beginning it could be challenging. Not much you remain with, but as you climb up, it's gonna get bigger. So it's not like set once you go in to the end, because once you go in, you're not really that much of expert. So your salary will just be lower, just as in the company. So I think that is how it works specifically here in Postec.
Thank you so much. There's any advice? This is the very last, and I'm very, very thankful for your time today, even though it's weekend. And I understand how much compact you are and your schedule is. Can you tell some like last minute advice or tip or any suggestion?
Oh, well, what I would say and what I would suggest to anybody who is interested to apply, not even Postec, anywhere in Korea or in any other place, I think most important is the passion and interest. Do you really have interest in what you want to do? That will really like open up doors and open up your eyes for the future that you're about to have. Like you really need to have interest in what you want to do, right? So in that case, you don't find it stressful and everything, because sometimes studying in Korea can be quite stressful, quite tough, because as I know, Korea is one of the places that their work culture is very tough, and they are also studying culture is also quite tough. People study a lot, and professor would expect a lot from you. So if you love something, would really give a relief, because you will be interested to do that, even though you don't make it. You just have some issues, but you'll be interested to try once more again. You'll be interested and love to learn every time you do it. And apart from that, I really recommend not to be afraid when you want to apply. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you don't know much. You just try, just apply. Just gather all the information that you can, and then you can seek advice also from people that you think they have more knowledge on it. Just seek advice and ask them, like, I'm trying this thing. How is it? Am I doing good? And then apply. You don't have to worry, oh, this is a big school, this is a small school. As long as they got what you want and then they have good capability to take you, it's good to give a take. And also when you are going to do your study, it's very important also to think that you have to balance your life. Don't stay in the lab all night, all day. You just get to know how to balance. Just get to go out, refresh, and then come back fresh, because you don't have to suffocate yourself. You are here to study, but also to have some life. This is the life period that will go away. So if you don't experience, you don't have some time for yourself, it will be not very healthy for you. So first, I think just apply, just try as much as you can. Losing it or get rejected doesn't mean it's the end of it. You just have to keep trying, and you just have to keep polishing yourself to get better and better. And yeah, enjoy your life as long as you get to be a student.
Thank you so much, John, for your time. I'm repeating because I understand how busy you are. So this is
Oh,
for it
it's
today.
weekend, so don't make me look like I studied too much.
This is for it today,
It's
and
weekend.
kamsahamnida. And
You are
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm,
you have a
I'm,
good time.
I'm
Thank you so
ending up.
much for having me.